Welcome back to another quick review, the quick review segment where I go back and review games or movies or anything that I have reviewed in the past. Today we are re-reviewing Final Fantasy VI. Now, for those who are unaware, Final Fantasy VI is the second ever quick review I ever posted. 3 years ago now, just about. It was the second ever quick review I ever posted, right behind, right after the Batman. And back then, I called it my favorite game of all time. I said it was the greatest thing to ever have been existed, since to ever been invented, since sliced bread. Um, I said how I loved it and whatnot. I have not touched the game in 3 years, partially because I did not want to ruin my perception of it. I was like, maybe what if it was a fluke? What if it was like a one-time thing and whatnot? I finally, after 3 years, went back and replayed this game, and it is still the greatest video game ever created. Final Fantasy VI just kind of encapsulates what I love about video games in a nutshell. It, it's storytelling with gameplay and the music, just like everything combined together makes it like a phenomenal experience. And I think there are some aspects of like other games that are better than Final Fantasy VI. I think to like even later in the Final Fantasy franchise, Final Fantasy Seven, not Seven, Final Fantasy 16 has better boss fights. I think 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim has the best story in any video game, right? But I think you take all that stuff and combine it together into one game, and it seems very seamless, very complete together, right? It doesn't feel convoluted at all. And that's what I love about Final Fantasy VI. It tells a phenomenal story. It takes all these characters, and not all of them, most of the characters, and develops them very well. They all are very different. That reflects in the gameplay. Each character has like some different gameplay mechanic that's unique to them that nobody else can use, and I think that's really cool. Um, they so the story is wonderfully mature. There's like a variety of like mature topics that are handled maturely throughout the entirety of the story. I think one a good one being teen pregnancy. I forgot that was in the not teen pregnancy, but like young adult pregnancy. I forgot that was in the game. They handled that really well. The idea of not idea but suicide. Um, that's another thing that is handled really well. Terra's entire arc just being about identity and what it means to be human when you are so different from everybody else around you speaks to me a lot, and it's why Terra is like such a phenomenal character. It's my favorite Final Fantasy protagonist, just because there's a lot of things about Terra's um, story that relates with me a lot. And all the other characters are, not all, like I said, most of the other characters are fully developed and are, all have great banter when they're, talking to each other. I think it's just a delightful game. That I have no clue how in the world they got this game to work on the SNES, right? The OST, the music, oh my goodness, it's so good. It's one of the best soundtracks in any video game, in my opinion. Up there with like, your Xenoblades of the world, your Personas, your Expedition 33s at that. This game's soundtrack is phenomenal. Its villain, Kefka, I think is my favorite Final Fantasy villain, just because a lot of other characters in the franchise, and you probably heard this if you've been in the Final Fantasy community for a long time, or just media in general. A lot of other villains, especially nowadays, they try to make them a sympathetic villain. Villains that have a very tragic backstory, villains that or be like puppet master and controlled. That's a very Final Fantasy thing. That's happened a couple of times. Um, they try to make the villain that make you have sympathy for the villain, sympathetic. And while I appreciate that, sometimes it's just cool to have a villain that is just straight evil. And Kafka just you can see just he's insane. Obviously, there's a reason for that, but he's insane, right? For the most part, he's just crazy, and just the things that he does like, around the world, you're like, this is building up to something, and then you get to that something, and it's just crazy. Like halfway through the game, it's crazy what he does, and what happens after, how just one insane person could just change the world. That's why I love Kefka. Kefka's just nuts. Kefka is just a insane villain. I think that's why he's my favorite Final Fantasy villain. Yeah, and then overall, I think going back to last thing, like gameplay and the world and whatnot, still very fun. I wouldn't call it my favorite Final Fantasy combat system. I think Seven Rebirth takes that. But I think in regards to like the turn-based game, turn-based-ish games, because ATB is weird. In regards to the turn-based-ish games, I think this is my favorite Final Fantasy combat system. I love the aspect of espers and magic building, even though at the moment you get Ultima on every character, or just Ultima in general, the game just becomes very trivial. It's not a hard game by any means, but it also it allows anybody to play without an issue to go through. It's very easy to overlevel, but it's also very easy to stay under level. So if you want to challenge yourself, especially the Pixel remaster, they have the ability to turn XP off, which I think works really well. And so yeah, just overall, I still strongly believe this is the greatest video game ever made. It's my favorite video game of all time. I would highly recommend you go play it. This is a 20 out of 10 video game. Yeah, it's just great. And I cannot wait to go back to it in another 3 years, I guess. Yeah, thank you for watching. See ya. Bye.